can you tell us what got you interested in these topics and what made you care, and when did you start caring?
I think I've cared all my life, and I've cared because I am part of the underrepresented minority. And what makes me care even more is being with groups of people who are part of those underrepresented minorities. And I think that together with the Citizenship Project and many others, we can actually work towards solving these problems.
So Amelia, do you think your education is preparing you to meet these challenges?
Certain teachers, I think, do that on their own accord, but in the school curriculum, in our Saskatchewan curriculum, I don't think it's doing any of that.
Nice, tell it how it is. Yeah. So how do you think schools can create kids who want to learn outside of school, such as yourself? Like, do you think there's anything more they could be doing to encourage that type of behavior?
They could encourage learning that can be applied outside a classroom, things that we see more in our daily life that's not limited to something you would see in a higher education that you would follow if you pursue a certain career path.
Okay, Hamza, so what is the biggest thing you want in Saskatchewan?
Biggest thing?
Yeah, just like
anything?
Something in the future that you want.
I want Saskatchewan to be known as a province that people actually want to live in, people around the world know about it, because people halfway across the world don't even know what Saskatchewan is. They don't know it's part of Canada. So I really think that I want Saskatchewan to be a place on the map.
So Rika, what is the biggest thing you want for Saskatchewan, like in the future and now, just in general?
I think, personally, the biggest thing that I want for Saskatchewan is to maybe a population growth. A population growth would better benefit Saskatchewan because there's more people coming in. It creates more jobs and opportunities, and creates the rural Saskatchewan will be more involved in the overall Canada.
Joe, do you think the schools are doing enough to do that, to teach kids to live sustainably? Do you think they're doing enough, and how could they do more?
No, I don't think they're doing enough to raise enough awareness or to teach kids, because from my elementary school life, I was never taught how to live sustainably. All I was told is to recycle.
So, Pooja, how do you think Saskatchewan is dealing with poverty? Do you think we could do better or worse, and how?
Well, I feel that people who are living in poverty are just being sort of covered up to society, in that their issues and the problems that they face aren't being shown to the people who are more well off. They are just sort of covered up, like as though they never existed. They don't get the public recognition that they need in order to be able to get enough funding and to get back on their feet. So just by hiding them and just saying, oh, well, everything's perky, everything's perfect in society, there aren't any people who are suffering at this moment. If we actually address the issue, then we can actually solve it.
What's a moment in this project that's been really significant to you?
The idea that popped up in my head this other day was the idea of having immigrants come, and then small businesses, they take the small businesses, but it's not fair to them because they've had more education in their own countries, and I don't think it's fair for them to go back to the low point and have to start their way up again because they've already made it up.
Okay, so Kimia, you are going to be graduating this year. Do you think Saskatchewan has enough opportunities for people who are fresh out of high school, or do you think there's a way they could create more so that people are more attracted to stay home instead of leave home?
Well, for me as a graduating student, there are some opportunities in Saskatchewan where I can go and experience different studies and make my dreams fulfill and come true. But I believe that Saskatchewan can create more field of interest and more courses that are kind of in the desire of the students, so students can stay more instead of going abroad into our other provinces or even outside the country.
What is one thing that stood out to you during this project, an idea or something that happened that impacted you while doing this project?
So I consulted a lot of ideas from my parents, like my cousins. It
it's really weird how they don't know much about the history of Canada, especially like those Indigenous people.
Okay, so you say that your parents never really got the history and stuff. Do you think we're doing a good enough job of teaching people proper history now, or do you think we could do better, and how?
I feel like right now is a start, because before, like the last residential school, I think it shut down in like 1996. So, like, the previous generation, they weren't really exposed to this idea. So, like, this is a start. Obviously, we can do better by like connecting ourselves more to their community, and yeah, we should also learn their cultures, because like there are things like they value their senior citizens a lot. Like they treat them as like elders, and like they listen to their teaching. I feel like that should be a thing that we should change in our society too.
So, Andrew, growing up, do you think that the education system did enough to prepare you to lead a sustainable lifestyle, and how do you think they can do better for future generations?
I feel like the education system's done a pretty good job of teaching me about sustainable living, but I feel like they could have started at a younger age, because it's easier to get ideas into people's minds when they're younger, as opposed to when they're older and they're set in their ways. So I feel like people would care a lot more if we learned about it at a younger age.
Okay.